Here at Skeptophilia headquarters, I try not to focus day after day on people with loony ideas. After all, loony ideas are kind of a dime a dozen, and loony people equally common, and after a while it starts seeming like low-hanging fruit. But every once in a while, I'll find something that's so loony, so weird, that it almost seems inspired, you know? A longtime loyal reader of Skeptophilia sent me a link from a guy named Mark Taylor, a self-styled firefighter prophet, who believes that Freemasons are using musical pitches to alter your DNA so that you'll hate Donald Trump. At first I thought this was some kind of ham-handed attempt at satire, but unfortunately, Mark Taylor seems to be sincere. Here's how he describes himself. I am no longer simply Mark Taylor, but also Shakina Kami, a name that translates from a combination of the African and Indian languages into beautiful one whose desires are fulfilled and in whose life the Lord dwells with the divine wind of providence. So I think we can all agree that that sounds pretty authoritative, even though I have to admit, in all honesty, that I don't speak African or Indian. Be that as it may, Taylor, or Kami, used the divine wind of providence to write a book, which has a very impressive title. The Trump Prophecies, the astonishing true story of the man who saw tomorrow, and what he says is coming next. In this book, we find out not only is Trump the anointed one of God, but Taylor had a vision in which he saw that Trump would win and that this would be a devastating defeat to the forces of darkness. It's filled with passages such as the following. The Spirit of God says, America, get ready, for I am choosing from the top of the cream, and I am putting together America's dream team, from the President and his administration, to judges and Congress, to ease America's frustrations. The Spirit of God says, rise up, my army, and get into the fight. Rise up, stomp the enemy's head with bliss, send the enemy back to hell and to the abyss. All I can say is, if we're being ruled by the dream team cream, the news still makes me want to scream. And most days I feel like I have to double my anti-anxiety medications just to make it through the day. Anyhow, I guess that Taylor et al. Didn't stomp the enemy's head with bliss enough, because now they're beginning to fight back. According to an interview that he did on Pass the Salt Live, a radio program by Sheila Zielinski, he had the following to say. I believe that what happened on November 8th is that the enemy has sent out a frequency, if you will. And if you will remember, when we did your show on frequency, we literally got shut down and had to start over again. Those who are tapped into this frequency, and it agitated and took control of those who had their DNA that was tuned to the enemy. And that's what's happening. The Illuminati, the Freemasons, their main goal is to change the DNA of man, and they're doing it through frequencies. Whether it's the bombardment of the news media, whether it's rock and roll music. I mean, we could go on and on with these frequencies, as we've talked about before. So you need to surround yourself with the good news, not the apocalyptic messages right now. Not to say that things aren't going to happen, because we're always going to have fires and earthquakes and hurricanes. It's not the apocalyptic message that everyone's talking about. I'm being bombarded by emails from Christians right now saying, look, I support Trump, but everybody in my family has isolated me. Everybody in my church is not talking to me. It's because their DNA is being controlled by the enemy. By broadcasting the news media, the audio part of it, at 440. That's why you watch the news media, you get agitated. It creates fear. It creates panic. And this is what is going on in the church. The body of Christ has got to stop being vulnerable to this stuff. You've got to stop listening to the mainstream news media. Look, if I want to know what's happening, I'll go to Fox's website to catch the headlines. That's not being broadcast where I'm hearing it in a frequency or anything like that. See, the thing about that 440 hertz is that it will damage your body organs. That's another reason why the people are so sick. It changes your DNA. That's the goal of the Freemasons, the Illuminati. They want to be part of that Illuminati bloodline. Okay, I just have one question about all this. What? If the news was tuned to a frequency of 440 hertz, it wouldn't be annoying so much as it would be pointless, because 440 hertz is A above middle C. Also, if a frequency of 440 hertz damaged your DNA, then the orchestra would undergo horrifying mutations every time the oboe player played an A so the rest of the orchestra could tune up, which would be entertaining if not necessarily conducive to a good performance afterwards. Also, you get the impression here, besides the fact that Mark Taylor seems to be nuttier than squirrel shit, that he really doesn't understand how DNA works. Or maybe I've just listened to too many orchestras in my lifetime and my DNA is damaged and I've become one of the Illuminati. Which would be kind of cool, especially if it came along with superpowers. But I'm guessing that's probably not true, because here I stand making YouTube videos instead of cackling maniacally and planning for world domination and shooting lightning from my fingertips. The real problem here, though, is that once you start looking into this stuff, you end up going down the bottomless rabbit hole of lunacy. And you find videos with titles like 432 Hertz versus 440 Hertz, Part 2, Nazi Fluoride, How Illuminati 440 Hertz Music Poisons Your Pineal Gland. Which not only has to do with Nazis and fluoride in your pineal gland and frequencies, of course, it has to do with Janis Joplin somehow, and Jim Morrison, and Jimi Hendrix, and the year 1776, and Elvis Presley, and of course, pacts with the devil. Don't ask me how that all fits together. I couldn't make it to the end of the video. So many thanks to the person who sent me the video link, even though now I feel like I need a double scotch just to be able to think straight. But I guess I better buck up because I've got a big day ahead retuning all of my musical instruments to 432 Hertz, so I don't turn into a Trump-hating Nazi Illuminati Freemason with a frozen pineal gland. I hate it when that happens. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. The resources are down there, including the link to my blog and subscriptions to my YouTube channel and to my blog. Thanks.